Okay, so let's be honest about surveillance for a second. We tend to just ignore it until something goes wrong. And then suddenly we're shocked that the little plastic webcam we stuck outside didn't, survive a blizzard or capture a clear face in the dark.
Right. And there's this huge gap between what we think of as consumer grade and mission critical.
Mm.
It's not just about pointing a lens at a driveway. It's about fidelity and resilience. If you can't trust the data because the lens fogged up or the image is just a blur of pixels, the camera is basically just a lawn ornament.
Which is exactly why today we're digging into the NTI E-IPCAM-HNPO-P.
Yeah, it's a mouthful. It's an Ultra HD wired day-night outdoor bullet IP camera. But the specs suggest this thing is punching way above its weight class, especially for something under $200.
It really is. It sits right at that intersection of high-resolution imaging and, industrial-grade durability. It's designed for environments where failure just isn't an option. So let's get into the seeing clearly part first. This thing runs a 5-megapixel progressive scan CMOS sensor. Now, 5 megapixels, that sounds great on paper, but isn't that, total overkill for a parking lot? And honestly, doesn't a stream that heavy just crush your network?
Usually, yeah, it would be a bandwidth hog. But that's where the compression tech really matters here. This camera uses H.265 compression, which basically squeezes that massive 5MP stream down so it doesn't kill your network or, fill up your hard drive in an hour. But you still keep all that detail.
And that detail is the difference between seeing a red blob and actually reading a license plate. Right?
Exactly. With a max resolution of 2592 by 1944, you can digitally zoom in on a frame and actually identify a face from 50 feet away. And you mentioned the progressive scan part. That's vital for moving objects.
Because it gets rid of those weird jagged lines you sometimes see on older cameras.
Precisely, yeah. If a car drives by at 30 miles per hour, an old interlaced sensor gives you a blur. Progressive scan captures the whole frame at once so that moving license plates stays crisp. Plus, the 2.8-millimeter lens gives you a 103-degree viewing angle. You're not looking through a straw, you're seeing the whole perimeter.
Speaking of the perimeter, the night vision range on this really surprised me. It pushes IR out to almost 100 feet. That's about 30 meters.
Which is huge for fence lines or large warehouses. Most consumer cameras, they just drop off after 10, maybe 15 feet.
But here's the thing. All those fancy pixels
Yeah.
and the night vision, they're useless if the casing cracks the first time it freezes.
You said this is outdoor rated, but does that just mean under a sheltered awning, or can it actually handle the elements?
Oh, it's a fortress for the electronics. It's got an IP67 rating, so it's completely dust-tight and can handle being fully submerged in water. But the temperature range, that's the real industrial flex here. It operates from minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 140.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, so minus 40 Celsius to plus 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely not designed for a climate-controlled office hallway.
No, this is for the polar vortex, or the middle of a desert summer. It's built to survive the extremes that would fry or freeze standard gear.
Okay, so on the installation side, it supports PoE power over Ethernet, which, most people in this space kind of expect that now, right?
Yeah.
It just keeps the wiring clean. But the integration with the EnvironMux system is where this stops being just a camera for me.
This is the most fascinating part, I think. It integrates with the E2D, 5D, and 16D units, and that effectively turns the camera into another sensor within a much larger ecosystem.
I saw the list of triggers, door contacts, glass break sensors, smoke detection, even liquid detection.
Yeah.
But walk me through the practical benefit there. Why does my camera need to talk to a leak detector?
Because it changes the camera from a passive recording device into an active responder. Imagine a pipe bursts in some remote warehouse at 2 point. The liquid sensor trips.
It triggers the camera.
And it instantly snaps a high-res photo of the leak and emails it to the facility manager.
So you aren't just getting some generic alarm notification. You're getting visual confirmation of exactly what's happening in real time.
Exactly. Same for smoke. You know instantly if it's a false alarm or a blazing fire before you even have to dial emergency services. It allows for immediate, informed decision-making.
And it still has all the standard stuff like motion detection and that auto patrol where it sweeps through 4 preset positions, right?
It does, yep. So it's never just staring at a blank wall unless you want it to.
It just seems like a lot of utility for $185. You get the 5MP resolution, the extreme weatherproofing, and this active sensor integration.
It redefines the baseline. We used to accept, grainy footage and weather failures as just the cost of affordable security. This proves we don't have to anymore.
It definitely feels like we're looking at something more than just a security camera.
That brings me to a final thought for you. When we start integrating cameras with environmental sensors, smoke, water, glass break to trigger these visual alerts. Are we moving past the era of simple security? Are we entering an era of total environmental awareness systems? It's not just about catching intruders anymore, it's about monitoring the total health of a building.
That is a massive shift in perspective. A great thought to end on. Thanks for listening to this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.